Look, we know Clayton Kershaw is still a really good story, but he's also still a really good pitcher. We don't talk about that enough, but we're going to tonight on All Dodgers.
Hey, a little bit of familiarity. I don't know why it went to me, but let's bring everybody in. A little familiarity, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, we got my music. If you recognize that from whatever show I used to be on,
so good.
This is All Dodgers. You might have thought it was some other show, but that other show doesn't use that song because that song is mine. And this is All Dodgers coming to you from La Puente and Kevin's Kitchen and Pleasant Grove, Utah. I'm Jeff. That's Kevin. That's Clint. Man,
we'll get
it right eventually. Nobody
do the opposite, but
no one knows where to point.
Yeah.
Dodgers completed the sweep of the Rockies. The story in this game, though, was Clayton Kershaw. He came into the game 8 strikeouts away from 3,000. He finished the game 3 strikeouts away from 3,000. Probably could have gone deeper in the game. Maybe part of the reason he didn't is because he was only 3 strikeouts away from 3,000. Dave Roberts definitely wants him to hit that at home. But guys, like, my takeaway from this game and from the last 6 games of Clayton Kershaw's is, oh yeah, this dude's a good pitcher. Like, obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and everything, but so much of the conversation about Kershaw has been, he can get this milestone and then he can retire if he wants to. And I've said that a lot of times. I do think Kershaw will retire, not at the top of his game, but when he's still a very productive pitcher. But he's still a very productive pitcher. And like the Dodgers, especially after yesterday's rain delay, knocks Yamamoto out of the game a little bit earlier than they would have liked. For him to go in there to Coors Field and give them 6 really good innings, and like I said, could have given more, but just gave them exactly what they needed. His ERA is 302 now, 303, something like
303
that.
on the season, yeah.
And it's just barely over 2 since the first start, when he gave up 5 runs in 4 innings, that first start against the Angels back in May. Since then, he's just been lights out, outstanding. Basically, what you would expect from Clayton Kershaw if you've watched Clayton Kershaw anytime over the last 16 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, eliminate that first outing on the year. It's at 2.14 over his last 33 and a third innings. Now I can put this graphic up because I got rid of the other screen there, but over his last 4 starts, you see the numbers. Very, very good. And people throw around the vintage Kershaw. This is not even vintage Kershaw. This is what, I mean, it is vintage, but this is what we have come to expect over our lives of watching Clayton Kershaw for the better part of 18 seasons. Like, it looks like he really needed that knee surgery. He really needed that foot surgery. The arm being an arm and shoulder being a little bit further removed from their operations. And like, this is a guy who right now looks like he can go for another 3 or 4 years if he wanted.
Yeah. So his 2.51 ERA is the lowest among any pitcher who's ever pitched more than 2,000 innings, just in case anybody needed a refresher on that. The last time we saw this guy remotely healthy was back in 2023. He had a 2.46 ERA and 131.2 innings pitched. But for the latter half of that season, his shoulder looked like what the beef stew that I just made
spaghetti
for dinner tonight. Yeah, it was falling off the bone, and it was still lower than his career ERA.
Yeah.
My point is, all this dude does is prevent runs. He's been lowering his ERA forever. He's still just, somebody mentioned it earlier, Donnie Boy, forever the competitor. That's what he is. Yeah. Guy gets on base. All he's thinking about is how can I get one pitch to eliminate the runner and get this inning over with as quick as possible. We saw a couple innings today where it was just like 8 pitches, 10 pitches. It was just so efficient. He's done. I know he's chasing 3,000 strikeouts, but he's done being the high strikeout guy. He's just trying to get out, and it's still so effective. It's crazy to see him back from all the way in 2008 where he had just the stuff to get everybody in the world out, and now he just pitches his way through just incredible outings.
And it's easy to say it's just the Rockies. Because, the Rockies are bad. And by the way, we do need to point out, Clint was wrong when he said they should hold him back for Kansas City. And I said, I will take pitching at Coors Field for the opportunity to pitch against the Rockies because they're bad at baseball. And So I was right. Clint was wrong. That's, okay, good. I'm glad somebody said it.
I mean, I understand the Rockies are bad. I still just don't want the chance of something happening to my poor
Field
precious.
is the worst place for baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Dave said he was totally pulled because it was hot and the elevation and all that, which is total BS from Dave. He's just holding him back to get 3 strikeouts. Okay.
I think it was.
I still don't even trust that he's starting Wednesday. It's probably going to happen Tuesday.
I think it was part of the consideration. But my point in that wasn't that Clint was wrong. My point was that Kershaw has made 2 starts against the Mets, a start against the Guardians, a start against the Cardinals, a start against the Giants. Now, the last 2, the Nationals and Rockies, yeah, they're bad teams. 7 scoreless innings against the Giants. When I think it was they were within a game of first place at the time, the Giants were. Like, this was a very important game, and Kershaw shut them down. Like, this isn't him just feasting on the Rockies of the world. It is nice that he does get a stretch where he gets to face the Nationals and then the Rockies and then the White Sox in a row. But that happens for every pitcher throughout a season. But I mean, Kershaw, you can tell when somebody's pitching if they're getting lucky that they're facing bad hitters. But Kershaw's he's commanding his pitches. And, to even today at Coors Field, the curveball wasn't as sharp because it's Coors Field. Curveballs aren't as sharp at the altitude. But he is pitching really, really well, and not the same way that he pitched really well when he was a fireballing youngster, but the way that we've seen him pitch well, like Kevin said, the way we've seen him pitch well, even with the health issues, with the diminished velocity, anytime he's healthy, he is very, very good. It's as simple as that.
I'll add one thing, and I think I brought it up recently when we were talking a little bit about Kershaw, but I had a conversation with Fabian Ardaya on Dodgers territory last season about Kershaw when we're waiting for him to come back, and I kind of erroneously said, it's like Kershaw always finds a way to reinvent himself, but it's not necessarily him reinventing himself. It's him figuring or doing the same exact thing and figuring out how to eventually use now down to 89 mile an hour fastball and dot the corners and use that cutter, which he calls a slider, don't call it a cutter. Use that to get them to swing over the same pitch they've swung over for the last, better part of 17 of his 18 years. It's always the same exact thing. The league just hasn't learned how to catch up to Clayton Kershaw.
No, and it entirely been, he came up with just the filthy stuff, learned the slider, but then he built on it. It's like you said, it's not reinventing himself. It's learning to go from a thrower to a pitcher. Early on, he's a thrower. He's learning how to just get his nasty stuff in the strike zone. And now it's sequencing, it's location. We've seen him throw backdoor sliders now, which is something he was very against.
Fair, yeah.
Early on to the middle of his career. He's throwing a splitter or a changeup, whatever he wants to call it. It dives away from his left hand. That's the big point. He's learned to throw that. He's adding tools to his arsenal to make up for the lack of velocity in his fastball, a little bit lack of that weird rise he always had from his release point. And it's been really fun to watch because that's what good and great, not just good, that's what great pitchers do. That's why Justin Verlander is still as good as he is. That's why Scherzer's as good as he is. That's why it's really interesting for me, for Skeens, to be as good as he is right now, because he's doing the same thing. He developed a changeup this year. He's already doing some of that pitch shape, some of that tunneling stuff that it took Kershaw a little bit of in his career to do.
It took him 10 years to find that changeup. Working on it every spring training.
Yeah, it's cool to see him in year 18 still find a way to get dudes out and just make hitters look really silly, really bad.
Let's pop that super chat up on the screen, Clint.
I got that for you. 1 second. Here we go. Our friend Kevin Uhas has hit the gong. Let's hit all the things. How about that $35 super chat from our friend? What's funny is that, so we went to some pretend Butterburger spot that's not Culver's, by the way, but Freddy's? It's called Freddy's. Very mid at best. But Kevin,
I had Freddy's in Nebraska last week, and it was
not Culver's.
I think there was some meat along with the grease, but it was mostly grease.
What part of that? Wait, were you in Omaha for the college World Series?
My son played in a tournament during the College World Series. They do youth tournaments.
Well,
in
Uhas,
conjunction
thank
with the
you
college.
for the $35 super chat so we can get some beer and get a Diet Coke. I will be using some of that, my cut of it at least, to get a beer at Dodger Stadium because I will be there.
Kevin's
Share
our
one with the
homie.
homies. I will be there for Clayton Kershaw's 3,000 strikeout. So look out for your boy in the Lowe's section. 165,
Jeff, I don't
baby.
know if you know this. I went to school in Omaha, so I was just, I was like, oh yeah, well, you're in Omaha.
Well, while you guys are
Wood.
kissing and making out over here, can I tell people about Bet Online?
I hope you will.
All right, I'm going to tell people about Bet Online, guys. Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing. Clayton Kershaw is 3 strikeouts away from 3,000, so that's fun. Football season's around the corner. Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting, so do check that out. There's MLB, UFC, tennis, NFL futures. Bet Online remains your choice for sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the Bet Online casino with all the top Vegas style games, including poker, and there's a live casino there. Head to the website today. Take advantage of their industry-leading VIP program. You can put the P in P, and there's also level up bonuses. I don't know. I have fun with the read, guys. There's also weekly cash boost, so check it out. Bet Online. The game starts here. That's all I got.
Clint, friend of the show, Jacob Brownson. Says, do not disrespect Freddy's. I've never heard of it, and I got to be honest, there are better burger spots in Omaha than Freddy's.
Listen. It was new in our area-ish. We had to go all the way out to Glendora for this place, and it was fine.
Well,
it was fine.
I will tell you, Freddy's was not the greasiest food I ate in Nebraska.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, Kevin, if you went to school there.
What's the greasiest food you had in Nebraska? Canes?
No, what's that place? The Nebraska, like they make their burgers in like a pita kind of like.
You didn't go to Kong Burger, did you?
No.
They do that. They make theirs in like that similar like style. I think what you're talking about because they do like Greek food and burgers, and they make
because it's not a pita. It's just basically they just take their dough and just fry it with the burger inside it, and so you're just eating grease. It's
that sounds horrible.
I'll Google it while
I was a very broke. I was not sampling Omaha's finest when I was there in college. For what it's worth, I was doing a lot of Papa John's and Picklemans. That's what I could afford. So,
Runza.
Guys,
okay, yes, I've
so
learned
bad.
about that.
Guys, hit the like and subscribe button.
Clint wants to talk about the Dodgers.
Listen,
no. We're talking about Nebraska food.
We're not Dodger Blue. You go to Dodger Blue for random food talk, guys. All right.
Just don't go to Runza. That's what I'm saying.
Hang out with Blake
I
Williams.
said this before. You had the same take with Star Wars. Dodger Blue does not have a monopoly on food takes. All right, they don't have a monopoly on Star Wars either. We get to have fun with it too. They just started it, but we get to join in. We get to have some of the fun. All right, the Venn diagram can overlap at points.
I mean, I guess it's okay now that we're doing more content on the channel. We could peel back the layers and find out what kind of ogres we are.
Everybody likes buffet.
Guys, sound off in the comments. Let us know if you want to have us just talking robotically about the Dodgers, or if you want to know things about what we think on food. By the way, Uhas is going to the game on Wednesday, so Uhas, come find us. We're going to be there. I'll be hanging out with, well, I don't know if I'm hanging out, but I'll at least be seeing our buddy Lucky Nick, also known as Bob Nightingale, hanging out with us in the chat. I don't know if I just... Oh, look at that. There he is. Only good thing at Freddy's is the frozen custard. This thing's got to stop resizing itself. Got to figure that out here, Ecam. But
my doctor says I need to stop resizing myself too. Because I'm fat. I don't know if you guys got that.
That's a boo. That's not a... No, that works.
Hey, take my wife, please.
Bring it.
Anyways, somebody was saying they enjoy the variety. Alex Montoya says we can have some variety in here. All right, that's fair. We'll do that. But save it for the end, like Dodger Blue does. Thank you, River gets it.
Then definitely save it for when we do our first members only
coming soon.
Stream.
We gotta pick a day.
That's coming soon. We're gonna pick a day, and it'll just be all that, and we'll sprinkle in some Dodger stuff in there just for the fun of it.
Also,
I'll still wear a hat.
I want to make sure we shout out Diane, because she's, as always, putting in some work for us in the chat, telling people to like, subscribe, thanking folks, being one of our fine, excellent moderators here in the chat and keeping things on track. Apparently, we need a moderator because we're not at all on track. But we do have a voicemail that does mention our friend Clayton Kershaw, and I feel like it's only fair to probably talk about
I'm gonna be over
voicemail. Hold on, I gotta find it. I don't really know how to sometimes how to Apple very well, but anyways, I'm just gonna play the voicemail.
Everybody strap in. Strap in.
Hey, Clint. Happy whenever you're gonna play this voicemail.
And Jeff and fam.
Well, I'm breaking my radio silence, but here it goes. God have mercy on my soul. So Kershaw is 3 punchies away from going to 3,000. Dave Roberts decided that he's going to throw him next Wednesday, which is good for me because I already had tickets because it's a bobblehead night. Yeah, shocker.
Awesome.
People have always hated on Kershaw. If he does well, it's because he played the Rockies. If he didn't, then he gets criticized because what? You can't handle the Rockies? He's been doing this for 18 years. And what I want to remind everybody who's constantly dumping on him and constantly bashing him down into the ground for what reasons I have no idea, is I do know this. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, whether if you like it or not. He's given us 5 innings or more in his last couple of starts, and he's 4-0. In short, you know who's not 4-0 for us right now? You know who's not giving us innings right now? You know who's not 3 punchies away from punching us to ticket to Cooperstown? Glasnow and Blake Snell. They're not doing it, but Kershaw is. The old man, the guy that's washed up, the guy that everybody demands that he walks on water, and then when he does, you mock him for not knowing how to swim. So let's just enjoy it. Enjoy it while he's here, because one day he's just going to be a plaque on the wall. His number 22 is going to be up in the circle of honor, and you're just going to not recognize at the moment in history that you didn't have when you weren't around to see Fernando do it or Sandy Koufax do it. And that's really a shame. So God has given you a gift. Take it, enjoy it, and appreciate it. So hashtag free Richie, hashtag free Ha-Sung Kim, and hashtag bring back the original Dodger dogs that were Farmer John.
You know what? I appreciate the creativity at the end there. That's pretty good. I like he pivoted in a great way.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys
almost as if being forced to go out of his comfort zone led to a new and improved Richie.
It was definitely funny. Question. So I think Mariano Rivera is the only unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer, if I have my math right.
That's pretty easy math. Yeah.
Kershaw's got to be the next one.
Well, 100%. Yeah, it should be. I mean, Ichiro should have been, but there's that one guy.
Exactly. You like. Ichiro
I will find that person. I will find that person. Again, I will break their kneecaps.
There will absolutely be some a-hole who says, "Oh,
you can't play in the postseason."
Yeah. Again, it's the Family Guy meme. Whoever didn't vote Ichiro into the Hall of Fame, I just want to talk. I just want to talk to him. Just come on the show. Just have a conversation. Because if Kershaw isn't unanimous, I will lose my mind. That's egregious.
Kershaw, very good at baseball, Hall of Famer, somebody that this year totally on the Hall of Fame trajectory just for this year. Jeff, I think we need to talk about Andy Pages finding his way to be in the top 6 in the outfield for NL All-Star voting. That's pretty cool.
Dodger fans stepped up. You know, when we saw last week or earlier this week, maybe even Pages was in 7th place, and he just ran away. He ended up 5th place. He wasn't even just in the top 6. He finished with 300,000 more votes than Juan Soto.
Wow.
He flew into the top 6.
Is that the Mike Schilt bump?
It might be. And Mike Schilt invited America to find out who the F Andy Pages is, and America did it.
Who the Jeff?
Who the Jeff? Andy Pages is.
Okay.
No, but this is pretty special. When we talk about the first 3 weeks of this season, most people that love overreacting, like a lot of us do, maybe not Jeff, but he was dead and buried for the first 3 weeks of the season, hitting $160-ish or something like that. But since then, hitting around 330. This is a man who doesn't believe in taking a walk. He's like, oh, I'm here to hit some dingers or find some grass, and he's doing that. He's doing that very, very well. The offense or the defense has been great. Hosed a dude to get a double play to end the game today. Like, he's doing everything, and this is a guy where it's not just Dodgers fans ballot box stuffing. Like, this is a kid that kind of very strongly deserves this nod,
especially if you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was just gonna say a couple stats that I looked up prior to the show. His 3.0 WAR is 6th in the National League. That's above Juan Soto. 7th in WRC plus among outfielders, not in the National League, but among outfielders, he's 7th in WRC plus. And like Clint said, this is somebody who wanted dead and buried. But it wasn't because of his back, because we all believed his back could come around. It was because of his defense and his base running gaps.
Yeah, so overall game was a little sus.
Well, so, currently he is 2nd in defensive runs saved among outfielders, according to Fangraphs, and he's 5th in outs above average. So he's not only brought his bat around, the dude has learned to play above average to borderline elite defense in the outfield, and that's just where he's taken his game to a completely new level.
And yes, and kinda. He's definitely improved in center field. I think the elite defense is still happening in the corners which has always been that's where we always thought he should have been, because that's where he was already a good defender. But the fact that he has become above average in center when he was well below average, you don't have to be elite in center. You could be above average and hit the way Andy Pages hits. I would still love it if the Dodgers had an elite center fielder who could hit, so Andy Pages could be an elite corner outfielder who could hit. But, this is pretty nice. I do want to point out, just tooting my own horn, because, somebody's got to toot my horn. That's what she said.
God. All right.
Back when everybody wanted Pages shot into the sun, or at least sent to the minors, what I always said, and this is kind of what you were getting at about me not overreacting. I said, if the Dodgers think it will be good for his development, then they should send him back to Oklahoma City. But if they, there are some things about playing in the major leagues that you can only learn by playing in the major leagues, and so that means letting guys struggle sometimes. That means whether it's Andy Pages or James Outman or whoever, and that's why James Outman got such a long runway to try to do it, because it's like, well, can he figure this out? And once they said, oh, the answer is probably no, it's okay, you go away now. But letting Pages figure this out at the big league level when so many fans didn't want it to happen is exactly why what we've seen from Dave Roberts so many times over the years. And it's not just Dave Roberts. He doesn't make the roster decisions. But, the front office, everybody is on the same page. We saw it several different seasons with Jock Peterson. Yeah. We saw it multiple seasons with Chris Taylor.
Center fielder, Jock Peterson.
Guys who ended up having productive seasons when in April and May, people wanted them DFA'd, or at least benched. And we saw it so many times. And that's what we see with Andy Pages, that he got to experience the growing pains and figure it out at the big league level, and he's a better player because of it.
We need to talk about one egregious omission from the All-Star ballot box, and that is Michael Conforto being snubbed. Jacob gets it. Where is my guy Conforto? Come on, he had 4 hits in Colorado. That's an all-star if you do ask me, which nobody is. But jokes aside,
EK believes it'll fix him. Eric Carroll
I argued on multiple shows here that leave him in Colorado. Clearly he's built for it. But
the worst part is he's the only one on the Dodgers who didn't make it to the next round. Everybody else made it.
No. This is what's hilarious is that you could literally fans, Dodgers fans, like we need Japan to go hard. We need LA to go hard. We need everywhere to go hard. In the ballot box, on their voting, multiple emails, because it would be hilarious if the Dodgers can do better than what the Royals fans did, like 2015, 16 or whatever, where they got like half of their team voted to the All-Star, the starting lineup. Dodgers can have 8 players in the starting lineup if they play their cards right. And hey, who knows, maybe somehow Yamamoto starts because Dave is the manager, and then you have 9 players starting the game that wear a Dodger uniform. That would be pretty.
And there's
hilarious.
No Omar Infante on this list. These guys
not.
Are mostly,
those are legitimate dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll throw it back up for you. PCA, PCA is very deserving of this. We were talking before the show, Acuna, what he's done in a very small sample size is impressive. And of course, Tucker, Soto are going to be in there. They're popular names, but there's not come on, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and realistically, Tommy Edman is here because of the popularity contest. He's not one of the 2 best second basemen in the National League this year. He's having a. Is he? Am I wrong about that? I don't know.
This comment, just looking at the screen, a little, James Wood, Rob. James Wood maybe deserved a little bit of consideration, but hey, it's a national. You're not going to get much love as a Nat.
Give me 1 second. What's Tommy Edman stuff?
Ask
Tommy.
Brock. You know what's good for Tommy is at least he's exceptional with runners in scoring position, and I would say he's playing all over the field, but he's not. He's a second baseman now for some reason exclusively. But
it's his.
It's because Dave hates Hess on him. I get it.
Yeah, so Tommy Edman would be tied for third right now in the National League in WRC plus. I believe he's second, if I remember correctly, in DRS and outs above average. So he's deserving. The second base is pretty light when it comes to the National League. It's basically Brendan Donovan and Bryce Terang. Those are kind of like the guys. Nico Horner, if you are a fan of Nico Horner. Some people are, not me.
His parents know him.
Yeah, so Tommy Edman deserves to be there, and it's definitely it's definitely a situation where if there was a utility role, he would lead the category. Not particularly close because maybe not his season stats like you mentioned are super exciting. He's at the 700s in OPS, 102 WRC plus, but hitting with the runners in scoring position, he's third in the National League, just among everybody, and he's one of the best defenders in baseball, regardless of position he's at. So I say all that to say, because I've been looking at potentially doing a Tommy Edman video, which may not see depending on scheduling. He's really good and is deserving to be there. And if we have to shoehorn him into one position, second base is kind of what we're looking at this point.
It helps. The managers, the Dodgers manager, I'm sure that helps a little bit.
Yeah, he gets to pick his own representative, right?
Back when I was a kid, it would have helped a lot more because managers used to get a lot more say. These days, the managers, all he gets to do is choose who the starting pitcher is based on who's on the team. That's the manager doesn't have any say on who makes it onto the team, or even who starts other than the pitcher.
Who was it a couple of years ago? No, it was last year. Who was the manager last year? Was that Luvello? Torey Luvello? Somebody, because wasn't Teoscar Hernandez a starting center fielder or something like that?
He did start in center field.
And the manager was like, he's played a lot of center in his career or something like that.
It took 2 batters for them to realize that wasn't the best idea in the world.
Yeah. One guy who's definitely in the lineup, by the way, is and the leading vote getter, Shohei Ohtani. He's pretty dang good. Willie Mays Ohtani here. He's having himself a special start to the season for a pitcher.
Yeah, it was
that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that up because I had the tweet loaded up.
Yeah. And by the way, it was Lovolo. The Diamondbacks in the World Series seems like so. I buried that so deep in the recesses of my memory bank.
The subcockle regions.
Can't imagine it was 2 years ago.
I've blocked that whole postseason out of my mind.
Yeah,
wasn't a long one. Wasn't a good one. That's what she said. That's what we got. Well, any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we say goodbye for the evening? I feel pretty good about where we're at. The Dodgers sweep in Colorado like they're supposed to do. For the most part, our guys that we picked heading into the series did well. I think, what did I have again? I had Mookie.
You had Mookie.
He had 6 hits,
I
think,
a couple
in the
good
series.
games.
Yeah.
Freddie finally came through. He only had 1 hit, but it was the game-winning hit
meaningful.
Today. So, yeah.
Mookie 4 hits in the series, by the way.
Teoscar did fine. He was all right. He hit a double.
He had 7 hits in the series. That was like
he had 7 hits in 3 games.
And he's riding a 6-game hit streak.
My gripe with Teoscar though wasn't that he was getting hits. It was he wasn't hitting for any power, extra bases. So like he hit a double, he drove in some runs. Like that's what I was getting at when I was harping on him. What are the chances Dave asks Mike Schilt to what?
To be a part of the All-Star coaching staff.
I think he's already made his invitations. I think Brian Snitker and Clayton McCullough were the 2 that he invited, and I don't think Mike Schilt was on the court list.
Hey, free Tony La Russa.
Stop it!
Is Tony La Russa in jail again?
Probably.
What did he do? Fall asleep at a stoplight again?
Who was it? Didn't Mike Schilt like say, "Oh yeah, I called Tony La Russa after the ejection, and he was totally awake. He was totally lucid." Sounds very presidential to me right now. It was a very perfect phone call.
And Jeff had the best response to that ever. So.
Jeff, you should have pulled that tweet up. Get it ready.
It was like
if La Russa was awake, we've narrowed down his location to not at a stoplight.
Yeah,
so.
That's pretty good. I feel pretty confident in saying we could wrap it up here, gentlemen. What do you think?
Yeah,
who's pitching tomorrow?
We stopped a few minutes ago.
Who's pitching tomorrow? Michael Negrete.
Who's pitching tomorrow? It's a Dustin May start. Could be one of his maybe final 4 or 5 starts. We'll see how that turns out. But Jeff and I will be live tomorrow. We haven't picked the time yet, but we'll do a series preview pregame, and then I will we'll be live over the weekend as well. Probably, potentially me solo on Saturday, and potentially Jeff solo on Sunday. We're figuring this out still, guys. It's week 1 of doing this, but I will be live 10 a.m. on Sunday or on Saturday ahead of the Dodgers at Kansas City. Otherwise, I guess we'll say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of the All Dodgers podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done it already. It really helps out the channel. If you do that, if you like it, if you comment on the videos, that really helps out the channel. If you're looking for a different way to support the show, perhaps with some sweet cheddar, do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube. The most popular tier is a $5 tier, and with that you get access to our Discord server. We have watch parties, we have game meetups. There's cool things that I think fans will enjoy. I'm there, Jeff is there, Kevin is there. We all hang out and talk Dodger baseball all day long. It's usually a pretty fun time. Thank you to our mods for doing a great job and keeping the chat on target, even if we weren't always on target today. All Dodgers presented by Bet Online. I'm Real FRG. The guy in the middle is Snider, and the guy on the other side is Kevin Skinner. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.